Hello, and thank you for watching tonight. My project proposal is on what is a better school district, Omaha Public Schools or Millard Public Schools. What I plan on researching for this project is whether Omaha Public Schools offers a better education or if Millard Public Schools offers a better education. I understand that all schools have challenges and strengths. However, I have kiddos and I am curious about which school district is good for struggling students and students also who are excelling. School does have a very strong influence on individual success. Therefore, I feel that it's very important for parents and caregivers to know which school best suits their unique needs, including the family's unique needs and the student's unique needs. Many schools within the metro area, such as in Omaha Public Schools and Millard Public Schools, offer great programs. And I am just curious which of these programs is the best. So the two schools, again, that will be explored is Omaha Public Schools and Millard Public Schools. I had to narrow it down to these two school districts within the metro area because we do have several other school districts such as Gretna and Elkhorn, but that would just be too much information. I almost think that exploring Omaha Public Schools and Millard Public Schools is going to be too much. However, I feel like it is doable and that I will be able to get through the materials and the research without overexhausting myself. So what do the schools offer? This is something that I am going to cover within my project. And right now I know that Millard Public Schools offer the International Baccalaureate program, which is basically a fancy college prep program where if you can get through the program, then it looks very, very good on a resume to get into college. They also have a Montessori program in Millard that is basically individualized education. The student gets to decide how to drive their own education. And there's several other options within Millard Public Schools. However, those are the two biggest ones. Also, Omaha Public Schools offers magnet schools, which basically magnet schools has a concentration such as the arts or science or I think that there's also a theater magnet school. So these schools basically have one concentration. I mean, the students still have their core subjects such as science, math, English. However, the students are able to have more, the school is able to give their students more emphasis on a certain subject. Also in Omaha Public Schools, there's a Spanish program which the students would go to one school, so one elementary school, and then to one middle school, and then to one high school, which for half of the day instruction is in English, and the other half of the day the instruction is in Spanish. So even if they're in math class, their instruction for that part of the day may be in Spanish, and this is just to build strong bilingual students. And like I said, both of the schools offer several other opportunities. However, I will cover those in my final report. So what will my report include? I will look at a great deal of literature reviews and peer-reviewed journals to get a clear understanding of what does it take to be successful? What do students need and what do schools need to offer to create successful students that are college ready and that are engaged in school? The research will also, of course, focus on Omaha Public Schools and Millard Public Schools. And then finally, I will make a recommendation to what is the best school district for a struggling student and what is the best district and school for an excelling student. At first I was just going to do have the report include just a regular student, which was the best schools, but I felt like it was best to kind of break it down a little bit more into what programs are best for struggling students and which programs are best for excelling students, because those two students are pretty far away from each other on the spectrum of learning. I mean, I know that they still have many of the same opportunities. However, sometimes when a student is struggling or not engaged in school, they need something very different than a student who is very engaged in school and excelling. So what activities engage students in school? This is going to be probably the meat of my project, to really explore how do students get engaged in school and really what helps them excel. What are those programs? Is it mainly sports, or is it academic programs, drama, band? What really helps drive a student to stay engaged, and what do Millard Public Schools and Omaha Public Schools offer that is engaging for the students? The scope of my research, again, is what keeps students engaged in school, which programs are considered the best in regards to academic achievement. So I'm going to look also at Nebraska Department of Education's website and to see which schools have the best testing scores. That does not always say which schools, however, have the best programs. Academic scores always don't reflect, or standardized testing scores don't always reflect exactly what a student is learning or what a student needs. But I will be looking at those statistics just to kind of drive my research in a direction. I'll only be looking at Millard and Omaha Public Schools just to narrow it down. And when I am teaching, I will be teaching grades 6 through 12. Language arts. Therefore, I'm only going to look at grades 6 through 12, just because if I looked at grades K through 12, again, that would just be too much information, and I wouldn't be able to break it down enough to make a report, a smaller report. And also, I'm going to look at what makes a school successful. What are the programs that make a school successful? What do students want to see? What do parents want to see in the programs and within the schools to make them successful? My methodology I'm going to use is MCC's database and library. I've already begun looking there, and they have a wide variety of information, and I found all my peer-reviewed journal articles on MCC's database. I was a little surprised at how much MCC offers, which was great, and I highly suggest that for you if you are still looking for materials. Also, I'm going to use Millard Public Schools website. Their website is broken down pretty good into different sections that help me look at different schools and what schools are offered. And they also give lots of stats and standards, which those will be very important to guide my research as well. Omaha Public Schools is the same. Their website is broken down very clearly into those stats and standards and programs that I will be looking for. And also, again, I'll be looking at Nebraska Department of Education's website for just general knowledge of what our testing scores look like in Nebraska and what helps fuel those test scores to be high or low. The outline of my report will look at the background and history of both Millard and Omaha Public Schools and what has made schools successful and what kind of helps engage students. Also, I will look at the review of programs within Omaha and Millard. Again, I'll look at a review of what helps a student be successful in schools. Again, and I know that's a pretty broad subject, but what I'm really focusing on in regards to being successful is that they are engaged, their grades are staying up, they are, not doing drugs or drinking, and they are staying out of trouble, and that they have a clear, not necessarily college bound, because I think you can be successful without being college bound. However, just having a clear mindset of what they want to do after college or after high school. I know that can change. However, just looking for a clear mindset. Also, my outline of the report then will go into the review of studies investigating programs in schools. So I'm going to look at that literature review and those journal articles just to make sure that it's lining up, that the research lines up with what makes what programs in school are successful. Then I'm going to provide a summary of the research results, and then I'm going to make a recommendation again for a struggling student and a recommendation for a excelling student based on my research. And here are my references. Thank you very much for listening, and if you have any references or ideas for me, I would love to hear them. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.